Hi Shannon, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Can you please tell me a bit about yourself?
I am 23. I live in Wollongong and I used to be a full-time student at University of Wollongong, but I recently graduated last semester.
Can you tell me a bit about the art that you create?
So I've been making art since I was a kid, but I've been painting professionally for the last 3 years. I started photography when I was 7 and drawing when I was 10, and that was my main medium, photography and drawing and traditional art, drawing. And then I started going into more acrylic painting in the last 3 years because of COVID.
How has your career developed and evolved?
I think my interests and confidence in what mediums I can use has changed the way I make art and what mediums I use as well. I think photography, I was so comfortable with it and automatically got it off the bat that I was just like, okay, I'm just going to do photography for years. And then that burnt out. And then drawing I've always consistently done, but it's just been on the back burner. And then now I have more confidence with painting because people are like, oh, this is actually really good. I would buy this off you. I'm like, oh. So I started developing that skill more because I have the confidence to develop it. So now I'm doing more mixed medium and painting.
How would you describe your workspace?
It's a little bit sporadic. I just have 2 locations. I have my desk when I do digital work and drawing. And then when I paint, particularly for commissions, I do it in my living space. And I have a desk all set up out there as well to do painting. I just kind of with the space, I kind of just go through places I can get things for cheap or free and just kind of scavenge and then add it to my workspace. I'm like, oh, this looks great. And then that's how I usually figure that out. It's kind of all over the place though.
Nice. Looking at this painting specifically, can we do a deep dive into your creative process? I would love to know how you go from conceptualization to finished product and how you then collaborate with your students to inspire their replicas.
Yeah, so my artistic process, because it is a commission, it does start with communicating with my commissioner and basically saying, okay, what's some ideas we can throw out, and I collaborate maybe we could do something more still life, we could do some pop art, and they pretty much give me free reign to do whatever. It's very unusual that they have a specific thing they want. So I start with that, and I'm like, okay, what's something I can break down into simple shapes? What's something that has fun colors? What's something that might be trending even? Maybe something that people find fun, like a cowboy hat, Barbie, for example, is a thing. So we did something with Barbie. And I break up, and I also think about what's something that is easy to do, but is basically something I would paint and enjoy painting myself. So I start with those ideas and I just go through different colours and be like, oh, this colour looks really good, we could do this colour scheme, this colour theme, but make it simple. I also like to pick colours that are really easy to make. So you have your primary colours, you just add a little bit of yellow and you get a really nice orange or something like that. Nothing super complicated, something that could work with very, very cheap paints and cheap brushes as well, very limited supplies. So I start with that and just basically we got what resources I need, what the design is, and then I actually start painting drafts on my phone or my iPad and my tablet digitally. I mean, okay, that looks really good, and then I draft it on a canvas and then I start painting from there. And honestly, I couldn't recollect how the process works. I try to keep track of how and what steps need to be written down for the class, but honestly there's not really a strict process with how I do things. I kind of just slap it on the canvas and it's there. Sometimes till the very last minute, which just happened with the painting that's featured in the video. Actually, that was did not look good till the last 5 minutes of painting it. And then when it comes to collaborating with students, basically I let people have free reign and basically, okay, my painting is the foundation of what we're doing, but feel free to use your colours that you want, feel free to paint something completely different, you don't have to stay on theme, it can be exactly the same. I like people to have fun with it, because people I think feel very overwhelmed wanting to paint something from scratch, and I just give them a base of something they can work up from, or work towards, or just be okay, I want to paint a flower, she's painted a flower, I'll just paint a flower that looks different. And they just feel more comfortable, like, rather than starting with no references and a blank canvas. Well, they have a blank canvas, but there's a non-blank canvas in front of them.
Yeah.
So, and I just think that's how we collaborate as well. And some people come up with some really interesting things that honestly are, like, very impressive and very professional. I'm like, oh, and people are, like, surprised, like, how well.
Does it also inspire you to create new artwork based on what you've seen?
Yeah. Sometimes it's intimidating, but in a good way. And yeah, I'm like, oh, that's a really cool color scheme. I might try that. But it's like, it can be very two-way. Like, I go to every student throughout the class and be like, oh, what are you painting? What are you doing? How are you going? And they might talk to me about their process, and I might say my thing. And they might say something like, oh, that's a really good idea. You could definitely do that. Or, like, I might use that idea too. So it can be quite two-way as well. Yeah.
Nice. I've been tasked with asking how you would proceed in addressing the creative brief that was set for myself and my fellow students. The brief is, we are living on the verge of immense challenges and opportunities that will change the way we live. Create an expo experience that engages participants in a fact-based dreaming of their possible futures. I know that's a very loaded brief, but if you could give me an example of what maybe you would present at an expo that would support that kind of idea.
So on the verge of uncertainties, I think could apply to a lot of my students are from university, whether they're starting their degree or ending it, or work at the uni, and they see those opportunities and challenges and unknowns. So I think to do that, being like, the stress of not knowing what your degree is going to hold for you or what your career is going to hold. I think my Birds and Brushes and my classes really help people be like, just have fun at uni and like take a break and help them just like have a chat to other people in different industries and different degrees and be like, maybe I should try something different than my degree, or maybe my degree is for me, and like get to know different people that might not be in your classes. So maybe as an expo, I could do like I would do maybe an art installation in some way, or public community-based art installation where I could get different artists from the university or students. Maybe they do painting or drawing or even performance, and like do a group art installation of some kind and somehow involve the students at the expo or that are watching the exhibition to be a part of the artwork. Maybe it could be like just having a giant canvas and getting them to paint something on it, or it's a performative thing and they're part of the performance, or a small character, and that could engage their imagination, that could engage conversation about what they're doing, or with us or the artist or the audience, and really be like, they're on the verge of like not knowing, but there's opportunities around them, and like stimulates the imagination of like what opportunities can be around them from different people, but also maybe validate what they're doing.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, thank you, Shannon, so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Really appreciate it, and I look forward to catching you at the next Birds and Brushes.
Awesome, thank you so much.
I enjoyed the process of filming this documentary. It was my first time doing so, and I would love to do more video content in the future. Talking to Shannon about her life as an artist was very interesting. I was impressed with how she was able to answer my questions without a script. It inspires me to work harder on my own answers to be faster in the future. Her take on the creative brief was very unique. I liked how she was basing it around helping students find their dream degrees or careers. She also has great ideas about how the students could collaborate to make new artwork or performance pieces. Going forward with our group presentations at the end of semester, I will definitely put forward some ideas about getting the audience to participate in our presentation instead of just being observers. Collaboration requires group participation, and I look forward to seeing what my team and my fellow peers come up with.